So, do you wanna run the intro?
I'm good, man.
You sure?
No.
So we're just hanging out in St. Pan, and I'm using that podcast voice, which is well different from my regular voice. So you know that's what I'm doing. That's
Hi.
You're doing great.
I think that my favourite part of this already is that you complained about how many podcasts out there sound like garbage, and then you opted to record with your phone microphone in a train station underground.
What I'm really enjoying right now is the reverb. You know, the natural cadence of my voice just transcending through the room, and oh, it's not echoey enough. I'm just doing it.
See, look, intervals and issues.
That sounds like a prog band.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got way less to say right now than you'd think. You know, with us having missed our train because of your need for fucking coffee. 20 to 11.
So we had we had 6 minutes for this train, like 6 whole minutes. And we're in St. Pan, and I wanted a coffee, and John thought that was enough time for a coffee, not understanding the care and artistry that a barista takes in Starbucks to create a venti caramel macchiato with cream, and there's squiggles on top. Have you learned? Did you?
I didn't watch. I ran for the train and missed it. I should just got it without you.
I didn't run for the train, and yet we're in the same boat. What do you learn here? Coffee over cardio every single day. I don't know what it is. I get the feeling that at least the first 5 minutes of this is going to be hella awkward. Is that something that you get?
I mean, it's only taken like 4 years of you being like, "Hey, bro, let's start a podcast," and me being like, "No, let's not do that." And then you did it, and it was good, and I was like, "Oh, that's why I want to do a podcast."
I think it's one of those things as well where you've been chasing after that girl for so long, and then you're finally together, and you realise, like, I mean, she's real cute, but you just don't know how to talk to her.
Yeah, that'll happen. That's the internet boy.
Yep. But he always ends up being really nice in the end. That's the important thing. So this is, for all intents and purposes, episode 1 of ANIMUS. We were just discussing that we need a jingle. I think maybe ANIMUS will be plenty.
just like 10 seconds of dead silence, and then that hella loud, and then we'll just roll in.
Everyone will know it's us. That's the important thing. So this is episode 1, but there is an episode 0, which is mostly just me talking to myself in my living room, just sort of trying to pad a two-way conversation on my own. So
it is essentially the Fanta Menace to this franchise.
It's all the way at the beginning. People don't like to talk about it, but it exists, so here we are.
You definitely don't need to see it, though.
No, please no. Although I guarantee I'm going to reference it fucking loads. Like, you know, when you saw that thing that's already happened? Yeah. This will be cool. One of the things we haven't quite established is what this is. So that's going to kind of evolve as we go. So thank you so much for joining us in this thing.
We'll look back in 100 episodes. I'm like, do you remember we were so awkward?
We're different now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm expecting the tone to pretty much stay the same for a while to come. So, again, don't watch the first one, but if you have watched the first one, I've done my intro, so I don't have to do it again. Pretty sure rules is rules. So let's talk about you, John Hawkins.
So if you have listened to episode not 1, then I am the friend. I am the anonymous friend that said, "Don't do that. That's an awful idea." But here we are. So
friendship.
Clearly, I have powers of persuasion.
That sounds like a Pokemon. Go, Persuasal!
Yeah. But it was with legit reason. It's because everyone does podcasts, and I was like, let's not do podcasts. And then all of our friends started doing podcasts, and I was like, let's definitely not do a podcast. And then more of our friends started doing a podcast, so I was like, well, now's the time.
Right, is the carriage full? Yep, let's get on board. Choo choo. Yeah.
Has the horse been flogged to death? Almost. Let's go.
Cool. It's time for that one. Like, the thing is as well, you never get the movie about the horse's race in the middle of its career. It's the one where it's like, okay, he's pretty much ready to be glue now. Let's see if he can get it over the line one last time. So this is that underdog story of the winner who stopped winning but will win again.
It's the cop.
ANIMUS.
It's the cop who has one last case.
Yeah.
The day before retirement.
Yeah, we're gonna see whether or not we're gonna draw on that pension or. So yeah, this is ANIMUS. Rolling, mate.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I made the joke about it sounded like this podcast being like a cop that's set for retirement, and then immediately that's like Shaft music.
Yeah. The thing is, like, obviously time's traveling a little bit differently for us, so we recorded the segment, found the music that you've been listening to, and like John's getting like a really, really strong like 80s cop vibe, and I'm getting like bad porno. Like, it's the case they're like, this sounds about right, we've only got 10 songs in the library, so this is what they're doing it to. Oh, okay. But they've still got mustaches.
Of course.
Both of them.
Both. Yes.
Yeah.
It's my kind of cop drama.
Saying as well about the levels. Again, in episode 0, I sort of mentioned how we're doing this. We're using an app called Anchor. So it's all kind of... It's all a bit... It comes out of the box and then you get what you get, and that's what it is. So I was worried about the levels. So if I spend half the time shouting, that'll be why, and I'm really sorry if you're wearing headphones.
That was as loud for you guys as it was for me.
So I'm getting closer. I'm getting more intimate. So what do you think this is going to be about? Like, what topics do you want to touch on?
It's 4 years of catching up.
Yeah?
Yeah, because we should have done this about 4 years ago.
Okay,
So it's
yeah.
4 years worth of news.
Oh, dude, did you hear that Trump's doing really well?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The looming possibility of Brexit.
Oh man, that'd be
terrible if that happened.
That's not going to happen. That would be bonkers. Nobody would be too lazy to go and vote. It's your fault.
You heard about this young upcoming politician called Jeremy?
My boy Jezza.
Oh my god, let's not.
I was going to say politics is not. We can't talk about Bojo. We can't talk about Jezza. We can't even talk about T May, who 4 years ago was doing all right.
Yeah, she just had a normal job, didn't she?
Yeah, she was just in her career in politics, and then it's been a bit of a wild ride since then.
Yeah, she had the really, really explosive first album.
Yeah. It's one of those things I don't think we should talk about. Yeah, so what are your interests, John Hawkins? Tell me about you.
I like music and films.
Do ya?
And long walks on the beach.
Do you? Please name your 5 favourite bands, your 5 favourite films, and your 5 favourite beaches. Go!
I've played myself. Oh no. I actually said a list of 2 films on the way. Yeah, on the way
that's a
here.
substantial list. And like, you've just stepped into list territory when you get the second one out. So go on. What films are you into?
A Scanner Darkly, which is that cartoon one. With
I love
Reeves
cartoons.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Ghost in the Shell, not the film. The film was good, but we're talking about the original.
Well, the cartoon one.
The cartoon one, yeah. Hold up a second.
So you like, basically what you're saying, mate, is you like cartoons.
And Keanu Reeves, because my third favourite film is The Matrix.
Yep, getting a vibe here. Yeah. So basically you took A Scanner Darkly, Ghost in the Shell, and you were like, this one in the middle seems alright, actually.
Pretty much. I like the internet and colours.
Yeah. Oh man, like, live action Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the popular thing to do is to take one big steaming cable all over the whole thing. Like, that's like cultural appropriation, talking about how it doesn't have the same intellectual depth as the original, doesn't explore the same films. It's just an action romp that happens to use cyberpunk. That's kind of the vibe. That's all the things you're supposed to say. So, what did you think of it?
It's really good.
Yeah, right.
It was really good. Like, if you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, you know that it's a pretty heavy film. Like, as far as kind of its kind of themes and its approach and its kind of conversational topics, you're not going to get a Hollywood blockbuster covering those themes because no one will go and watch it.
Yeah.
And if they did go and watch it, they wouldn't like it. I mean, nobody liked this one, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. I think it ticked all the boxes it needed to, and it was just really good. And it was visually stunning, which is like 90% of the reason, like, you want to go see an action film because it looks good. No one wants a great storyline because
Yeah. I was going to say, like, sort of, there is an element of, like, big budget action film where you sort of disconnect your brain, and I feel like that's really funny when you're talking about Ghost in the Shell. Where it's, yeah, but it is that. It's like, it's almost, you're stepping out of real life. You're just unplugging, watching some stuff explode, and that's the whole premise of, like, your Michael Bay films, your Fast and Furious films. You don't watch it because you're like, I really want to expand the limits of my theological understanding of the world. It's like, I want shit blow up. That's what I want. I want shit blow up.
I've never walked into the cinema to watch a Dwayne Johnson movie and be like, dude, I hope I come out crying.
Like, it is.
I went to see The Meg in the cinema. Okay. Have you seen The Meg?
I haven't seen it. Of course I haven't fucking seen The
What do
Meg.
you mean, of course, you go to cinema like all the time. Have you not seen The Meg?
I do. It's one of those things where it's like, that is a Netflix film. It is going through the cinema just to have that, like, it's like a pre-ceremony thing, so that I know that it will turn up on my list on Netflix and then I can watch it. That's what film is.
You have to go. Okay, so that kind of film would not work at home, on an iPad, on the TV, on the couch. It would not work. You have to see it 100 meters wide, surround sound,
4DX.
yeah,
yes.
like, it just, you have to. And there's no way anyone was going into that film thinking it was going to be anything other than hilarious trash. But it was great. It was great. It was so ridiculous you couldn't dislike it. And there's so many things I want to say. Can you quantify, like, can you actually use the word spoilers for a film like this? I think it's just plot points. I don't think I'm spoiling anything for anyone.
I mean, is there a giant megalodon?
There is.
Does it fuck shit up?
Occasionally.
And by the end, are the people who were having their shit fucked up have some kind of resolution where shit is no longer getting fucked up?
Pretty much.
Oh my god. I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't actually remember if there was a setup for a sequel. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Maybe it was just a bigger... I reckon there might have been like a post-credit scene.
You telling me the Megalodon didn't make it?
Ah, sorry.
The number of syllables in that.
400 million years too late, sorry.
Fuck. But Ghost in the Shell, like the original sort of standalone complex, the original film, the new movie, etc., etc., etc. The main themes it explores is, what does it mean to be human? What is life? What is consciousness? What is it that makes you up? And I don't know. I feel like you take the standard American audience, and you say, would you like to explore your humanity and potentially walk away from it not knowing whether or not you're real, or whether or not you matter, or do you want to watch ScarJo fuck some shit up? I feel like there's a larger audience for, like, tight costumes and explosions than there are for, like, exploring the meaning of life. I've just realised while we've been talking about this, the fucking porno cop music is still going to be playing.
That's hilarious. Yes.
So, so in front of me, I have a
child's drink.
A Fanta grape drink. Now, this does not sound very exciting, but I've been hunting for this motherfucker. Yeah,
is that what you?
Yeah. Okay, so don't know if I've mentioned this to anyone previously. It's not a big deal or anything, but I happened to. Spent a bit of time on. I went to Japan. Okay, not like a big deal. Like, it's cool. Like, it's not,
you've never mentioned that.
I know, it doesn't come up at all. I barely mentioned it like an hour ago. So it's like, it doesn't. So it's fine. So okay. So Japan. Long story short, like, not going into it now. Long story short, there's vending machines fucking everywhere, and there's two drinks that are over there that maybe like that they were like my Japan drinks, and they weren't even Japanese drinks. They were Fanta. One was Fanta grape. One was Fanta green flavour. And I've not had any Fanta grape since being back over here, and I've just found some Fanta grape, and this is like a really big deal for me.
I'm gonna let you have this.
Yeah, I'm gonna just have a little sippy
Do you want
sip.
a glass of ice?
No, I'm fine. I'm really worried though that I'm gonna have it. It's gonna taste nothing like it. So I'm gonna just. Oh no shit! Yeah.
Yeah? That's
No.
not-
It started. And I was like, no, just taste some bubbles. What the? And I was like, wait, look past the bubbles. What else is in the
Look
can?
within you.
There is no can. Yeah, this is fucking great.
Good.
I hope you got a piece ready for this segment because I'm done now. I'm gonna sip away.
So is that actual grape flavour or is that American grape flavour? Because
it says caffeine-free grape flavoured soda. So
grape
grape.
with other natural flavours.
But they're natural though, so it's fine.
Oh, thank God.
There's only 170 calories in this can, so that's good. That's
good.
yeah.
Is it? I think it's America. I think it's grape. Where like in America, it's like a different thing. It's like not the same fruit or something. Like grape flavouring is not what we think. Grape flavouring over here is like wine.
Yeah.
Or like what's that? Is it Welch's?
Welch's, which is like 80% sugar. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, that's what you've got.
Yeah. So like, you ever had that where you really like the artificial taste of something? Like, so like strawberry milkshake tastes fucking nothing like strawberries.
Yeah.
I know people. I don't want to make a big deal of who it is, but I know somebody from the north, and you give them the option for fruit, and they're like, "No, that's fucking gross, mate. What are you doing?" I'm not doing a northern accent just because I'm not very good. But
thanks from all of us.
Yeah. You are welcome. Just from the south, I just want to say you're so incredibly welcome. But yeah, give them like the strawberry milkshake flavour. It's like, this is the fucking best. Don't know where I'm going with this. I really don't. I'm really hoping you could fish me out of this hole that I've made for myself.
You were just talking about is our artificial flavours nicer than? Actually, I think it was a question. I think it was just a statement. Like sometimes they're nicer.
Yeah, it's just a thing, right? That's a thing. I just remembered as well. You can on this app. You can have like little call-in section bits. I think it's. I will have it ready for the next segment because I'm just tripping over myself. But you can have like people leave audio messages and pick it up, and it's a very dangerous game for me to play right now because I don't know if anyone's ever going to listen to this. But if you'd like to call in and tell us your experience of when an artificial flavour has been nicer than the real thing, please do so at URL I'll give you after the break.
How did this derail so quickly? Tricked you. I was not ready.
But I am with the URL which was prophesized. But it's anchor.fm/animus. If you wanna send in like a voice message, which can be an answer to the previous question or just like a dick joke. Anchor.com. No, fucked it. No, it's not. It's anchor.fm/animus.
It is.
It is.
It is that.
Yes. Cool.
If you want to help us or give us direction. I felt like I was going to pitch for like money there. Like,
yeah.
If you want to donate.
So if you want to go to our Patreon, it's Patreon.
Fuck that.
Speaking of like ads and podcasts and stuff, you're an avid listener of Joe Rogan.
Ooh, avid.
You watch it every single day. And actually, we can talk about some real life stuff if you want to mention anyone who sends you all the important parts.
Jimmy. I would not consider myself an avid Joe Rogan listener. I have listened to his stuff in the past. I've listened to about half the Elon Musk one.
Yeah.
I've listened to the whole Rich Roll podcast, which is really good. Rich Roll is an athlete and a very successful podcast host and a athlete. Whose story is like about recovery. He was I don't know how I just turned this into a section about someone else's life. But
we're doing it.
Yeah, where he was an athlete. Then he kind of like took a more professional kind of businessy career and got into, I don't think drugs, but I think drink, and his kind of athletic career kind of like disappeared.
Yeah.
and I think he suffered like a bunch of relapses, and either way, kind of found plant-based living and ultra endurance, and at one point was like one of the fittest dudes on earth.
Yeah.
And his book is. This pauses me looking at my bookshelf. It's there. Finding Ultra.
Holy shit! You read?
Yeah, I read books. Yeah, no, those are all real. That's not just a picture.
Oh my god! I just figured that they were just there for show.
So the bookcase just came with the insert.
So Finding Ultra. What was the dude's name again?
Rich Roll.
Rich Roll. Not Rick Roll. That's
Roll.
a really different thing. That's fucking cool.
Hilarious updated name, yeah.
But again, sort of. So fell on hard times, and then managed to not just get back to the performance level he was at. He pushed through it, and actually, that's cool, man. I like that. So there's a full interview. Joe Rogan, good.
Yeah, very, very good. Very long. Well, but I mean, all Rogan podcasts are like upwards of kind of 90, like 100 minutes easily. What else? What else have I listened to? Obviously, the Maynard James Keenan one, which is great. Have you heard that yet?
I still haven't done it. No.
I definitely sent that to you.
Yeah, I mean, and you told me to listen to it as well. I just take instruction really badly.
Only because you're a bigger fan of him than I am. Like, I'm a big fan, but I mean...
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I was listening to Talk, and it was one of those... Like, my kind of, like, musical journey was a bit fucked. Like, it was a bit of a mess. Because lots of things were happening in parallel. I remember when we first met, were we going to do the We First Met story?
Hell yeah.
So we were at school together. That was nice. And it's one of those things like...
Catholic girls' school?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
I just fucking crashed. I was like, yes! This will come across as a massive shock to you, but I was very, very super socially awkward, which I know for somebody who watches them Japan animes and listens to metal music is totally left field of the genre. But we found some common ground over a Canadian artist who spoke to us on an emotional level. It was the case that she was making music that was didn't just make her the voice of a generation, but also kind of redefined what music was. I think Avril really was a game changer for everyone. And
for the country of Canada as well,
yeah.
Which really would be nothing without her.
Yeah. What I think is really strange is sort of the artists who followed in her footsteps to try and recreate that magic, and then only put out one album and released it as singles for the next decade. I don't really get the Nickelback thing.
Already.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne. And sort of busted, fucking great, fucking busted. Then I gotta say it, and we'll have to talk about it on a different podcast. There's not enough time for it now. Lost Prophets, yeah, Linkin Park, Slipknot, and Tool all happened at the same time. And those bands, although to like the outsider would be like, that's just that fucking metal shit, isn't it? Said I wasn't gonna do a northern accent. That's my northern accent. That's why I don't do it. No, but from an outside perspective, it's all the same fucking thing, and it really is not at all. And I'd say Tool is a very mature band for that section. It's like
that was a very Tool fan thing to say.
Yeah, I know, right? Like it is very much. It's just more. It's more meaningful, you know. And one of my favourite things recently is I saw an interview with Maynard, and he was talking about Lateralis, which has got the Fibonacci like phrasing. So but Fibonacci being 1 + 2, 2 + 1. It goes back and just adds the last two in the sequence. And he was talking about it. It was like, yeah, like it was very much. It's almost like a child's understanding of it, and the way that he approached it. He felt that he could do better, and that in itself it wasn't very sophisticated. And there's fucking 15-year-old me going, "This is fucking amazing." But I think it's really, yeah. Don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, I'm into Tool. Yeah, next bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, we were talking about which of the Joe Rogan pod. I hope there was a point to why you asked me.
Yeah, like we'll go back to it.
Okay, cool.
We'll go full circle.
And then I think his name's Eddie Bravo. Let me look.
He's the cartoon guy, isn't he?
That's Johnny Bravo. I knew you were gonna... That's what threw me. I was like, did I accidentally say Johnny Bravo? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Well, we've already established you're just into your cartoons, so I just kind of assumed that
Yeah, so Eddie Bravo. And if any of you haven't seen the Eddie Bravo, Joe Rogan like compilations, do yourself a favour. There's one where it's the infamous Alex Jones, everyone's favourite tinfoil hat wearer, Eddie Bravo. I don't know what Eddie Bravo does, by the way. I just know him from being a guy on this podcast.
He's not like a Kim Kardashian type, like
No,
famous for being famous.
No, I think he's a fighter. I think he might be a UFC guy.
Kim Kardashian is a fighter. She's had to fight the critics and the haters.
Suck.
I know I do.
Edgar Eddie Bravo is an American martial arts instructor. Why am I reading like I don't know how to read? Martial arts instructor and comedian.
Done did a fight.
Born 15th of May. Yeah. And it's just a lot of conspiracy theories. And it's just crazy because Joe Rogan's quite an out there dude. And to see him be the most level-headed, straight down the middle guy in a room of only 3 people is something
wild.
else. Yeah.
All I was going to say about that bit is the fact that with Joe Rogan, I love it when he's such a calmly spoken dude, and because of that, he can say things and you just sort of accept the flow of it. And there are times where somebody will say something completely left field or just completely fucking just out there, like, you know, aliens could exist, and maybe it's the case that they are in Area 51 right now, and maybe we should storm it. And his response would be like, yeah, and you go like, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah. Gosh, that music's good.
That's definitely
wanted more of that. That's why. That is the reason that just happened just now.
Yeah, not because we were interrupted.
No, that would not be it, especially if, I don't know, like Lauren listens back to this.
Thanks for that.
So, where was your bit going, and I'll tell you where my bit before that was going.
Oh, you said sometimes Joe is like, well, we were talking about Joe being the level-headed person in the room.
Yeah.
And there's like one of my favourite lines, which is, I don't remember the conversation, but Joe says the line, Eddie, I can't talk about space being fake. My fucking brain's going to explode.
I'm worried now that our podcast is going to be an ad for his podcast if people haven't seen it, but it's fucking great. So it's like, that's in terms of where the bar is and what you're aspiring to. We're aspiring to be a ginormous, muscular, skinhead dude who is fucking bonkers, but in the most controlled way.
Absolutely.
That's the bar. Yeah. So the reason I asked was, we'll talk about ads.
And we're back.
Yeah. And like the first 5-6 minutes is just sponsors.
Oh, what,
of Joe Rogan's podcast?
Really?
Yeah, which is mad because I've always watched his podcast, not as the podcast itself, but like there are like best of clips on YouTube, and that's usually what I see. So when I actually plugged it in, and there was like, "Do you need a comfier night's sleep?" It just it left field me. I'm like, am I in the right fucking place? Yeah. I was reading through the reviews for the podcast, and it's like 5-star, just all the way down, except for the occasional like, there's a few ads though, isn't there?
See, that's crazy because I've always watched it on like either YouTube or I think the Maynard one was on like Vimeo or something.
Right.
So I didn't know that I always assumed that it was an ad-free podcast.
Right.
I feel like Joe Rogan's probably got enough paper to not like
need sponsors.
Yeah. But that's crazy. I know with the Jasta podcast, like if you subscribe to the platform, it's totally ad free.
Yeah.
But then when you listen on like SoundCloud or Spotify, there's ad breaks in between, and there's always an intro and outro with different sponsors.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really bother me that much. Like I feel like if you're invested in the person, like hearing them talk about, I don't know, car insurance.
Yeah.
Fucking like blue pills for like 30 seconds, man. It's not the end of the world.
I was gonna say, I feel like if we
it's
got
content.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we got the Viagra sponsorship, like for sure, I'd be like, yep. I'm gonna talk about dicks. I was gonna talk about dicks anyway.
I get paid to do it.
Yeah, but I think that's like, I find it really weird that I really enjoy podcasts. Like the main podcasts I listen to are like mostly the Rooster Teeth ones. and they've got adverts. But when I talk about the radio, I thought it was going to be a sneeze. I thought there was going to be a sneeze.
I really tried to
No, it wasn't. Then you hide that. No.
That was a yawn.
That was a full call. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Fuck.
My coffee's empty. Forget
it. I fucking hate listening to the radio. Like, I hate it.
Yeah, you should do.
Yeah, but I'm as time goes on, I'm finding it more and more difficult to figure out why I hate it so much.
Because it's garbage.
It is garbage, but it's just it's most of the time it's just talk shows with ads and then some music. I like music. I like the talk show bit. And if it's the case that actually I can listen to the Joe Rogan podcast or I can listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast and not mind the ads, then what the hell is it that I don't like? What is my issue? Am I just too fucking hipster? I'm like, no, I've got to listen to it on the internet. I've got to listen to it on like hour-long chunks every week. Like what?
I don't know. I am my very excitingly, my car was off the road for a few weeks recently, and I got a lift in with a colleague who most of the time listens to the radio on the way in and on the way home, and it's been a long time since I've listened to what
we mentioned about like mild interruptions. I'm certain somebody's life just got permanently interrupted upstairs. That's wow.
Yep, that was either part of my house collapsing or a gunshot. So I'm gonna just pretend that didn't happen.
So the car. That's yep. We were with Lauren all day, and nothing abnormal. In case anyone needs an alibi, it's Sunday, the date of August.
Yeah, and so this colleague of mine always listens to the radio on the way in, and it's just trash. And like nothing against her taste. I think it's just some people just get in a car and they just put the radio on.
Yeah.
Our dear beloved. He's not died, but our dear beloved guitarist Miguel is the same person.
Yeah.
He just sometimes doesn't plug his aux cable in or stick a CD on. He will just put the radio on.
Yeah.
Because he's 100 years old. And yeah, I just don't like the radio. I don't listen to the news or watch the TV or read the papers anyway, which is probably 100% of the reason I hate radio, because it's just sad, miserable stories designed to make you angry and then smoke more cigarettes and drink more alcohol, which isn't the end of the world, but when you don't do either of those
but
things,
the headlines will say that it is.
yeah, right. But I tend to notice when I listen to the radio or watch the news or scroll Facebook, when you see those kind of like mainstream news stories and stuff and those headlines that you do get on the radio, you're just like, oh, this has like wrecked my day.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's why. Like, I feel like if there was a radio station, like sometimes you get like the rock radio stations where like maybe they are independent, so like maybe not Kerrang, because I don't know much about Kerrang radio, but I know sometimes you get like, I think Classic Rock has like their own radio station or something like that. I feel like if it was music, if it was news topics and music that you enjoyed, you might actually be like, no, I'll just leave the radio on.
Yeah.
But if you're not a fan of the music that's on, or the news that's being told, or the people,
it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's real tricky, real quick.
0 out of 3.
I think that's like you're saying about the fact, like the way in which you ingest news or try and like divert from certain things. Like, I find it really difficult to get truly unbiased news sources, because even like the BBC is supposed to be unbiased. That's the whole intention. But if I pick up on a news story, I'll usually pick it up through, I don't want to make it too much of an ad, but I usually go through the inbuilt Apple News app or through the ticker feed on the side or the BBC website. But when I'm picking up on it, I still feel that need to verify and fact check, and I find myself going down that rabbit hole, and usually you'll find some disparity between what's being said and the reality of it. And I find that frustrating. I find it irritating, the fact that it's very difficult to get news that isn't sensationalized or hard left or hard right. Like, I know which way politically I lean, but it is the case that like it's hard to get unbiased news these days. We'll have a news section. We'll
just facts.
Yeah, and today is it's the date and it's this degrees in where you live and where I live, and it would be rough. It might be cool to have like a broad strokes overview so people are like up to date, but I don't think I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and you'd only really say the news that was relevant to you.
Yeah.
Or like to us.
Yeah.
And you're going to piss someone off.
Right. Yeah. Like something huge would be happening in, say, the world of like, So like something happens in the world of hip hop and something happens simultaneously. So like, I don't know, Corey Taylor says something stupid again. I mean, for the first time, and at the same time something significant happens in the hip hop world, we'd be more likely to talk about the Corey Taylor thing. And if we were genuinely saying that we're trying to cover like relevant stuff, it would be difficult. Doesn't mean we're not going to fucking do it though.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
We'll see. Right. So we'd aim for this to be about half an hour. I just banged my knee. Hope no one noticed. Yeah, we aim for this to be about half an hour. It's about half an hour.
Yeah, give or take.
What did we talk about?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
we started on like films and movies, and I don't actually think I finished my list of top 5 movies.
You got your top 3 in.
I got my top 3. Yeah, no, that's a solid amount, and they're good films.
Yeah.
And then we talked more.
Yes.
I love the fact that we briefly mentioned Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, and then I touched ever so slightly on like the government trying to make you miserable, and then it was like, nope, let's pull back from that. Let's not do that.
I think that we were probably in that rabbit hole longer than we realised as well. Like, there's so many things that I feel like we definitely shouldn't talk about, and I feel like by extension of that, there's a 100% chance we're going to say something,
for sure.
and it's going to upset someone. So it's going to be fun. I look forward to. What I'm looking forward to most is having enough people hear this for us to upset someone. Like, I feel like I was going to say until you got detractors. Sorry, haters. Till you got haters.
#haters.
Then obviously your reach is in need of some growth.
Yeah.
Cool.
That first 1-star review means that's it. I'm a professional podcaster.
100%. Oh man, I don't want to go into any kind of particulars, but I remember me and John have been in bands together for fucking ages.
Definitely a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like some time.
This whole month.
It's been a minute. So our first band in its second branding, we put out a video that was, I mean, it was hot garbage. It was really, really bad.
It was something.
It was really bad. And I remember YouTube went through a change where previously having like, you could have whatever username you wanted, and then it went through a little push where it was trying to get people to use their names. So it was trying to buy into their Google Plus platform, get people to actually use their actual real life names, etc, etc, etc. They moved on again. It's come full circle. We're back to using anime profile pictures and Smasher Destroyer 36. Oh my god, thanks for the video, it's so fun. But we had some like real fucking mean comment on one of our videos, and because we were teenagers, it hurt. It really hurt. I went back and saw that video a couple of years ago, and because of YouTube and Google's approach change, and because they switched over the usernames, it didn't have some random username there anymore. It had the person's real name, and it was someone that I worked with. So this like anonymous account that had like really gone in, I sort of looked back and I was like, oh, but we're friends. Yeah, like I say, I'm looking forward to expanding the reach and getting some mean comments, because I love them. I love them so much. You can learn things either about how you can improve or just about the true nature of the anonymous human spirit. It's just, it's beautiful. That's it, I think. I think this is the end of episode 1. In episode 0, I sort of laid out this promise about chatting shit. I think we came through.
Nailed it.
So good. Right, we're gonna find out how many bodies we've got to bury upstairs. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Mike.
I have been.
Good. We have been Animus. Right, you take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. Hey bro, can you hear me?
I think I can hear you.
Oh
can you hear me?
That's amazing. I can hear you.
Don't talk over me.
I'm sorry, there's going to be so much of that.